The Librarian's Secret. The year was 1874. Blackwood Manor stood like a silent sentinel atop the fog-drenched cliffs of Cornwall. Inside, Lady Isabella lived a life of quiet, suffocating elegance. Since the passing of her husband, the vast hallways felt colder, the silences longer. She spent her days draped in heavy mourning silks, a bird in a gilded cage. But on this particular autumn evening, the air felt different. It was thick with the scent of damp earth and something electric. A new librarian had arrived from London, a man named Mr. Julian Thorne. He was not the elderly scholar Isabella had expected. He was young, with eyes as dark as the stormy Atlantic and hands that looked more suited for taming wild horses than turning fragile pages. Isabella found him in the West Library, the only room in the house that still held the warmth of a fire. The golden glow of the hearth danced across the mahogany shelves. Julian was perched on a sliding ladder, reaching for a leather-bound volume on the highest shelf. As Isabella entered, the rustle of her silk petticoats betrayed her presence. He froze, then looked down. The gaze they exchanged was brief, yet it felt like an eternity. Julian descended the ladder with a fluid, predatory grace. He didn't bow as a servant should he looked at her as a man looks at a woman he intends to understand. He noticed the way the lace at her throat fluttered with every shallow breath she took. "The ink on these records is fading, my lady," he remarked, his voice a low, gravelly hum that vibrated in Isabella's chest. He held out an ancient map, inviting her to look closer. To see the parchment, she had to stand near him, so near that she could smell the tobacco and rain on his wool coat. As they leaned over the table, the back of his hand accidentally or perhaps not brushed against her bare wrist. The contact was electric. Isabella didn't pull away. Instead, she felt a heat rising from her toes, a sensation she had long forgotten. His fingers lingered there, tracing the delicate blue veins beneath her pale skin. The room seemed to shrink until there was nothing but the sound of the rain and the rhythmic thumping of two hearts out of sync. The wind howled outside, blowing open a latch on the window. A gust of cold air extinguished half the candles, plunging the library into a deep, velvet shadow. In the darkness, Julian moved closer. He didn't speak, he didn't need to. He reached out and slowly, agonizingly slowly, undid the single pearl button at the top of her high collar. Isabella let out a breath she had been holding for years. His thumb grazed her jawline, tilting her face upward. The world outside Blackwood Manor, the rumors, the mourning, the strict codes of London society all dissolved into the shadows. There was only the scent of old books, the dying embers of the fire, and the overwhelming proximity of a man who saw her not as a widow, but as a flame waiting to be fanned. As the last candle flickered, casting their intertwined shadows against the rows of silent books, the story of Isabella and the librarian began in earnest. Some stories are written in ink, destined to be shelved and forgotten. But others are written in the skin, in the heat of a hidden library, under the cover of a storm. And those are the stories that never truly end.